Hey YouTube, Kira Twig here, bringing you all an update to my Wicked Gods Yu-Gi-Oh! Deck profile for April 2024. This is a deck that focuses on all of the different Wicked monsters from the Yu-Gi-Oh! Manga R series. There are takes on evil versions of the Egyptian god cards, having the Wicked Avatar, the Wicked Dreadroot, and also the Wicked Eraser. 3 different forms matching up with each one of the different gods, and it's been a while since I've updated the deck, so I figured an update was due, changing some of the engines that I run in the deck, along with some of the easier methods for just needing to tribute 3 monsters to be able to summon out the many different Wicked Gods monsters. So let's go ahead and get started with the deck profile. So we'll go ahead and start off with the actual Wicked monsters. We're starting off with the Winged Dragon of Ra copy, and that is the Wicked Avatar. It cannot be special summoned. It must be normal summoned or set by tributing 3 monsters. If this card is normal summoned, your opponent can activate spell or traps until the end of their second turn. After this card's activation, this card's attack and defense are equal to the highest attack on the field, plus 100, except for the Wicked Avatar. So this is just basically a monster that copies the strongest monster on the field and is just a little stronger than it, making it a little more difficult to get over this monster with this effect on its own. They aren't as strong as the actual Egyptian gods, but the main play with these is to utilize all the many different versions that we run. So 2 copies of the Wicked Avatar and 2 copies of the Wicked Eraser, which is the evil counterpart to Slifer the Sky Dragon. It cannot be special summoned. It must be normal summoned or set by tributing 3 monsters. This card's attack and defense are equal to the number of cards your opponent controls times 1000. And during the main phase, you can destroy this card. And if this card is destroyed, you can use this card and send to the graveyard, destroy all cards on the field. So it's more of a destruction play while making use of your opponent having more and more cards on the field for that added attack boost, and then just being able to have that destruction option to then wipe out more cards that your opponent may control also. With the last of our Wicked monsters being the Wicked Dreadroot, which is the Obelisk the Tormentor copy. It cannot be special summoned. It must be normal summoned or set by tributing 3 monsters. The attack and defense of all other monsters on the field are halved. So this gives you a 4,000 attack, 4,000 defense boss monster just to swing in to your opponent's cards, and lowering their attack and defense as well depending on those monsters. You can potentially get multiple Wicked Gods on the field, but most of the time the playstyle is just focused on setting up one and making use of that bigger monster on the field when dealing with your opponent. Now, for the actual tribute fodder that we use for the deck, I run 3 copies of Eidos, the Underworld Squire. If it's normal or special summon during your main phase of the turn, you can tribute summon 1 monster in addition to your normal summoner set. You can only gain this effect once per turn, and with this card having that option, it just means if you have 2 additional monsters, you can summon out your Eidos and then go for the tribute summon of one of your Wicked God card monsters. So this just adds as more of an extender for your tribute summons to begin with. I also run 2 copies of Duke Shade, the Sinister Shadow Lord. You can tribute any number of dark monsters to special summon this card from your hand. If you do, it gains 500 attack for each monster you tributed. If it's normal or special summon, you can target 1 level 5 or higher dark monster in your graveyard, add it to your hand. You can use this effect of Duke Shade, the Sinister Shadow Lord, once per turn. You cannot special summon monsters the turn you activate this effect, except for dark monsters, which really isn't a problem because with this card, you're just going to, summon out one of the added back Wicked God card monsters that you use for this play. You can have the needed numbers. Duke Shade is mostly just in here to have a monster to tribute to special summon this card on the field, and then use it to add back one of your level 5 or higher dark monsters, which can be any of the Wicked God monsters I mentioned before, to your hand. And also 3 copies of Caligo Claw Crow. If you control a dark monster, you can special summon this card from your hand. You can only special summon Caligo Claw Crow once per turn this way. So once again, all you have to do is have a dark attribute monster on the field, and then you have a special summon of another monster that can just be used for the tribute fodder. There's no special summon restrictions thanks to Caligo Claw Crow. You can just do this effect only once per turn. And then for the last of the engines that I am running in the deck, I am running a Danger engine just to give you more of a special summon resource on the field. So the 2 copies of Nessie, the 1 copy of Jackalope, the 1 Tsuchinoko, the 1 Thunderbird, the 1 Bigfoot, and the 1 Chupacabra. The main play that comes down to all the danger monsters is just the special summon draw power that you get off of them, and then the additional search power, special summon that a good number of them have, and then just some bigger boss monsters on their own as well. But they mostly come in to the deck just with the intent of being able to special summon and then continue your hand consistency to hopefully draw into one of the Wicked God monsters to be able to tribute summon out using either the monster engines we mentioned before or the danger package also. And that is it for the main deck monsters. We'll now move on to the spells. I run 3 copies of Divine Evolution, literally the only spell that is actual staple for the deck. This card's effect cannot be negated. Choose one monster whose original type is Divine Beast, or whose original name is the Wicked Avatar, the Wicked Dreadroot, or the Wicked Eraser, except a monster already affected by Divine Evolution. It gains 1,000 attack and defense. The effects, activations, and activated effects cannot be negated. Also gains the additional effect of when this card declares an attack, you can make your opponent send one monster they control to the graveyard. So making your Wicked God monsters all the more powerful by giving them an actual viable effect to remove cards on the field. Aside from the Wicked Eraser, which can do that with its own destruction effect, being able to provide that to Dreadroot and also Avatar as well. With this card, makes it a definite 3-of, so you have that option for your monsters to gain the additional effects of what basically would be an Egyptian god card-like card effect. I also run 3 copies of Mound the Bound Creator for more protection for our level 10 monsters, which are the Wicked lineup in the deck as well. And then also, with this card, the player who controlled the destroyed monster takes 1,000 points of damage if a level 10 or higher monster on the field destroys a monster. So on top of the added card effects that Dual Evolution can do, you also have burn damage thanks to Mound the Bound Creator. Also running 2 copies of Fire of Doomsday. You special summon 2 Doomsday tokens on the field. You're restricted for summoning out monsters other than the turn you activate this card, but you can normal or set for the summon of those cards, but also for the tribute of a dark monster, it is restricted to, which isn't really too big of a problem because all the Wicked God monsters are dark attribute to be able to summon out. You can even just activate Fires of Doomsday on the end of your opponent's turn, giving you those 2 tokens to then make use of also. With the rest of our spell lineup comprised of 3 copies of Allure of Darkness. Almost all, if not all, the monsters that we run in the main deck are dark attributes, so they can provide draw power to then draw into the Wicked God monsters, while banishing multiples of some of the other cards we may have that you really can't make use of multiples for in the deck. Also, the 1 copy of Terraforming to search out Mound the Bound Creator. An additional copy of March of the Monarchs. Tribute summon monsters cannot be targeted or destroyed by card effects, so more protection just like Mound the Bound Creator. And also the 1 Call by the Grave for more shutdown of our opponent's own cards they may use to stop our own special summon plays, or Effect Failure, which can really hurt the Wicked God monsters. And lastly, 2 copies of Double Summon on top of some of our other cards. You could just be short that 1 additional summon, because you could have your normal summon play, having an additional play there, but you still need that 1 additional monster to be able to summon out into the field, and that's where this card comes in handy, just being able to provide that to you for your Wicked God monsters. And also 2 copies of Shade Brigandine, being able to summon this card as an additional monster by having no other traps in the graveyard. It's the only trap we run, so just a better chance to see this trap to make use of as a special summon onto the field to then use for tribute also. And that's it for the main deck. We'll now move on to the X deck. For the Link 2 monsters, it's pretty generic, and cards like, the March of the Monarchs can, shut down our X deck. We don't go into it often, but they are available here as resources. So 1 Dark the Dark Charmer, 2 Wee Witch's Apprentice, 1 IP Masquerena, and 1 Barricade Board Blocker, along with 1 SP Little Knight, which can be, replaced with Nightmare Phoenix to go along with the Nightmare Cerberus if you don't have SP Little Knight, 1 Link Karibo, 1 Almirage, and the 1 Nightmare Unicorn, along with 1 copy of Appaloosa, with our Xyz monsters being 1 number 81, 1 Gongaradai, 1 Typhoon, and the 1 Zeus. For just Xyz plays, it's very rare that it pops up where we can go into the Xyz monsters using 2 Wicked God monsters, but it's always an available option in the X deck to use if need be. And then as for some of the go-to plays, this is a very fun deck that just utilizes seeing which Wicked God monster you can summon out. And that comes down to if you can draw the proper one with Allure of Darkness, if you draw it off of one of your danger monsters, setting up that engine. It also just makes use to if your opponent can summon and then you get the proper danger monsters on the field for you to then be able to set up more and more monsters. 1 danger special summon can also just help to enact cards like Caligo Clawcrow. And then from there, you got 2 special summons on the field. If you go for your Eidos normal summon, then you have the additional normal summon off of this card as well. And then it just comes down to what Wicked God monster you may want to summon out. And that also plays into the part that we're going to run 2 of each copy, so then that just comes down to tributing for the one that you were lucky enough to draw into, and then basing your plays of what you're going to do against your opponent with that. You'll have the card like the Wicked Dreadroot, making it so all your opponent's monsters attack are lowered by half. Wicked Eraser going off of more of the setup that they may have done, so a better going second card. And then the Wicked Avatar being able to combat any monster that your opponent has with just a little more power on its own. But that is it for the deck profile. I hope you all enjoyed, and as always, until next time, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and Kira Twig out.